welcome to the Grizzled Survivor Show. Today we're kind of filling in some gaps where we've been before. This area is between areas we urban explored all out last year and where we left off last time that we were on our show. And we're attempting to find this area I saw while I was taking my cat to the vet the other day. And that area is kind of sandwiched. There's a footbridge that we've gone over 8th Avenue, over the railroad tracks. We've gone over that a lot. And this bridge in front of us is 6th Avenue. And this area is kind of sandwiched between those two. But the bridges kind of take you over the streets that I was able to get on via car. And that left me really curious as to how one would access those areas. And so here we are today. And it's very hot out. It's unseasonably warm. Starting off March as hot as Florida is what someone told me today, that we are the same temperature here in the Rockies as Florida was. Well, so you certainly can't go through there. So, we've been here before. There's those weird abandoned apartments. And if you remember, all the homeless people are still camped out down here, so we've been here before. And seem to recall it's pretty much a dead end on either side of us, because we kind of need to get across the highway, which is what's happening above us there. But I'm pretty sure that if we just follow the bend here, that we will eventually end up at an area where we can kind of get across where we need to go. There's a tunnel that actually, got to be like a tunnel or a bridge, one of the two, that takes us over. We have definitely been here on our show before. I think it was towards the start of the show that we came out here. Tried to kind of hit the easy to explore areas first. But at least we're getting something done today. I do pardon the lengthy amount of time between videos. I am trying to maintain a good schedule, but I'm also having to work on some personal issues, and those have taken up a lot of my time recently, and so it's hard to give those equal bookings, so to speak. We are changing some things about the channel. Still going to continue urban exploration and probably some Let's Plays and such, but we're also going to actually start doing more podcast type stuff. These cars through here. So yeah, here we are. Guess we just go this way. So, this is the area I was thinking of, and I believe that, well, you know, looks like there's really not much of a way to cross the railroad tracks from here. So, we're going to have to either go back the way we came, or turn around and continue to kind of wander on this side. So that's 6th Avenue there. Because I know for a fact that this area kind of just skirts through here. Remember, that's like that cold-looking compound we've seen down there before. A post-apocalyptic looking compound. Nighttime, I would vote that we just go up over there, but it looks like they've got some sort of cars and stuff posted. See it, it's even got its lights on, which is how it was noticeable to me. It's like an RTD cop parked down there. We've been here before. There's some more of the abandoned looking stuff. I don't think we're going to have a choice really but to kind of enter the area the same way that we entered it the last time, and that's going to be to go down to Kalamath here, take Kalamath down to the river, and then exactly the same way we got in the area before, coming north off of Alameda on like Lipan, or one of those streets, you know, the vet was on Yumi, so maybe that's the street we'll use. But unless we can really find a way across that area in the next couple minutes, I'm probably going to kill the camera, simply because we've seen all of this before. That's the coolest dog park in the world. I don't even have a dog, and owners of dogs make me not like dogs, but that dog park's pretty cool. But yeah, unless we can find a way across the river here in the next couple minutes, I probably will just kill this video until we get across the river. It's going to be real boring watching me walk through this upscale area here. This is like an industrial area that's been repurposed. You know, it's like, oh, it wasn't good enough to just be industrial, so then we just like, they put these weird little buildings here, like this personal trainer. You know, no one lives around here. Look, it's like you want to go to your personal trainer and you have to drive or walk. And people have told me, oh, well, you're walking down there. Yeah, it took me 45 minutes to walk down here, you know. Oh. Sadly, though, I think this does not cross the river. It just crosses the railroad tracks and ends. I'm sure we've been down this before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this just ends at the highway, but you know what? I think surprisingly enough, this is kind of where we want to be. I don't know if you guys can see it up there to the north, but there's the Platte River Station, which we use as navigation a lot on this show because of the smokestacks. I guess where we really need to be, unfortunately, it has to be on the other side of the river to get to the area I want to go, because it's on the other side of that weird building that we always have pondered what it is. We used to feature it a lot on the early episodes of the show, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get over there unless I go clear down to Alameda. Oh, the gate is pretty cool. Clear down to Alameda. So let's duck down this street here. Hurry across it. river and try to make heads or tails. But on the plus side, I do not believe that we have ever been in this specific area. We've been like every direction around it. But somehow this escaped me, which is fine. Well, I don't think we're too far really from where we need to go. At least we're in the shade. When we're all black, it gets pretty warm out. And you know, in Colorado, especially a day like today, this is where it differs from Florida, I have my thermals on, as well as shorts and a shirt, and I'm packing a hoodie, because once that sun dips down, it's going to get pretty cold. Although last night it said it was still 50 degrees in the morning time, which was incredible, and it may still be around that, but... So remember how long ago we were at the personal trainers? Well, here we finally get to like an area where people inhabit again. You can just see that it's ridiculous to have anything down here. There's no people. There's like, what, 2 houses? I've been here before on my own too. I recognize this motorcycle club here. We may have even filmed it. It's been so long since I've gone through some of our older episodes. But I'm pretty sure if we follow that, it's just going to take us up to the river, to, yeah, like the wall that separates us from where we need to be. Alright, so that's pretty much what I thought was going to happen. We really have no choice but to kind of follow Rio Grande circle here. I don't really think... I guess we've got to take a left. If we go to the right, it's not going to do anything for us. The river unless we go down to Alameda. There used to be railroad tracks here. Let's cross over here. Act like we're taking a picture. Alright, well, until we get across the river, folks, I think I'm going to kill the camera because I don't really think we're going to come across anything too exciting that we haven't already seen. However, the river crossing is coming up pretty quick. So when we get to a new area, I will definitely turn you back on. As I was saying, honestly, working with these GoPros has almost made me not want to have a GoPro anymore. I don't know. This one just lacks an interface. It makes it real hard to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. Like, why is it only taking 10-second videos? I don't know, but it does sometimes, and then other times it works correctly, so it's a mystery to me, Chelovix. I really have no idea, but it seems to be working for now. I was able to record like 13-14 minutes worth of footage. So, like, uninterrupted. So we've been here. Up further's the Phil Milstein Grove. And normally, we don't deviate. We just stick to the river, or we have in the past. But as we wander home, as you will see, we've been missing out on all sorts of cool shit. All the geese are out today. Turf of the baseball field there. It's always green. Seems like playing on AstroTurf would suck worse than playing on normal grass. And like, I don't really see the need to keep it green all year round, because who the fuck's gonna be playing baseball when it's cold and the grass is brown? And the people that are out there on days like the day that we'd be playing baseball certainly wouldn't care if the grass was brown, because they love baseball enough that they would just be out there playing. So I never really understood what the AstroTurf was about. So we have been here before. Ooh, we have. Oh, yeah, we definitely have. So I think the direction we need to go is more north to get to the area that I was thinking. South is going to take us towards the Anomalous Park, which we've been to, and towards, Overland Trail, Washington Park, those sort of areas. But in the interest of time and the fact that it's already starting to get pretty dark, and we've been along those railroad tracks before. I think in the interest of time today, though, obviously, and we've explored down there, we're going to head north today, which is an area that we never have gone. This park doesn't ever look like people come out here. I saw one person here. It's so quiet out here. So we have been here before. This area ends up taking us to that abandoned train car we saw last episode. We're kind of in that area right now to give you viewers some context as to where we're at the moment. Fasten your seatbelts, someone is waiting for you. That's what that sign says. That's pretty funny. I don't know who they're implying, whether it's some sort of inspector there at the factory that's going to make sure that you have your seatbelt fastened, or whether they are referencing that there are cops around here which I did see one right around this corner here. So, either way, buckle up, Buttercup. Okay. Perfect. This is right where I wanted to be today. This is exactly the area I was thinking that we hadn't been, and it struck me as incredibly strange because we've kind of been all around it. I mean, we haven't really been much more west of this, this far north. We have been more west of this when we were in the anomalous park, and obviously up north. Wow, look at that. It's a pretty cool area there. Yes, my plan is coming together quite nicely to spend the rest of our daylight hours out here exploring. I think we were up here last episode doing some exploring. And I think last episode we kind of just wandered that way until we ended up where we needed to be, but we may have done what we're doing now and gone up one of these streets. We'll know in a second exactly where we've been up here and where we haven't. We can judge from there where we're going. Alright, yes. So we have been up here before. So if we go straight that way, we end up at that really weird park that we were at last episode where that church was at. Hi, geese. Pretty gorgeous. Yes, we were here last episode. So, as we creep around this corner here, we're gonna be headed right to where I wanted to go. And we're also winding it back towards my house, because by the time I get home, it will be dark. It's like you get to enjoy the daylight. Oh, you can't go this way. I forgot. Well, so we're gonna have to go up and around. If you remember last episode, though, we did the exact same thing. We came down here. It was a dead end. We had to turn around. So we have no choice but to go to that weird park, and you'll see where we're at again. And as such, I might actually kill the camera. I don't want it to start acting up again. Because when it freezes, I'm unsure if I can get it unfrozen. This GoPro's like a tank. The battery is so far inside of it that you almost would have to disassemble the entire thing. And without any sort of tools, it's not really all that feasible. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So now you can kind of see where we're at. That weird park's right over there. I'm sorry to rehash footage of same shit we saw last time. I mean, but that's what happens when you have to come back to the same areas, and at least it's such a gorgeous day that you guys are certainly getting a good backdrop. And you know, that building over there is always cool to look at. Look at some sort of fabrication plant. I think we're getting pretty close to a street that I'm fairly confident runs through the whole thing here. Oh, I don't know. Raritan. Okay. Yes, we can go up Raritan. is what we did not do last time. Yeah, last time we went down there to that park, so I remember we wanted to investigate what it was. I was uncertain at the time. Nice quiet area over here. Not much of anyone around. And yeah, we're gonna kind of come up and wind our way around this area. Surprisingly, yeah, this is where my cat's veterinarian is located. In this fucking weird industrial area. It's not far from my house per se, it's just to walk here certainly takes you some time. I like this little area though, it's like very post-apocalyptic looking here, and as quiet as it is. I almost believe for a moment that the world has slipped away, although that's certainly not the case. Sometimes I wish it had, but, and I don't mean that, like as fun as it is to pretend that the end of the world has come and gone and that we're post-apocalyptic wanderers, let's I'll take a second and agree that that would be a terrible thing to have to live through and have to actually endure. It's not going to be like Fallout or Stalker, folks. It's going to be pretty terrible. And so, even though we love it and we love to live it, we don't want to live it. If that makes any sense. And the podcast that we're going to start on this channel will actually go more in depth with that. Hi, Bunny Rabbit. Go more in depth with that in terms of scenarios, potential news, apocalypse scenarios, as well as conspiracy theories, other things that survivalists like. Even though I'm not really politically in line with a lot of survivalists, and I certainly don't believe many conspiracy theories, it will be fun to talk about them. And we'll delve into it, but we honestly, the first episode I have planned, which should be up fairly quick, it's going to require a bit more editing than these ones, we'll be touching on current scenarios that are apocalyptic. So we actually are living in some pretty turbulent times, although it's certainly unlikely that any sort of conflict is going to arise that's going to necessitate the use of nuclear weapons or even lead to an apocalyptic scenario for those in the civilized world. Certainly that is potentially the situation that is arising currently. And so we'll touch on that more in the actual podcast slash like opinion video that I'm going to do. I'm kind of hesitant to add that to this channel simply because that it might get a little bit political, and you know, I certainly don't want my fans to not enjoy the rest of what we do because they don't like the political stance of the person giving it to them. And I mean, every personality that puts themselves out there, certainly that's a risk they run, and so I've certainly strove to keep these segments pretty free of that, especially these urban exploration segments. So if you do want to hear more of an enlightened conversation, less theoretical talk of the end of the world, you know, and more practical talk of the end of the world, minus the survival side of things, we will be addressing that, as well as a new format to the Air Force survival reviews and stuff like that. I think not only reading it verbatim or even writing reviews of it and then trying to give my synopsis and showing you pages out of the book, couple problems I have with that specific method are, one, copyright issues. despite the fact that that is just a U.S. Air Force manual, it is also not specifically issued by the Air Force, if that makes any sense. It's actually published by a publisher. And so I feel like if it was actually the copy of the manual that came from the Air Force, it would be less copyright issues reading it, because of the fact that the Air Force, a lot of their stuff is declassified and somewhat public domain in terms of like survival manuals, whereas someone who went to have that material published through a publisher, even if it was the U.S. Air Force, that specific publisher does maintain a copyright on it. So reading it aloud and showing the pages, or even doing some sort of review, like a essay on the chapters, I don't think that's the way to go with it. So I think we're going to start demonstrating stuff and maybe taking segments that I find specifically interesting and tying them in to like a general framework of information taken from numerous survival manuals that all deal with the same topic, like building shelter. So then we would look through all three manuals, we would kind of compare techniques, we might even test it out, and I think that's a better way to go. But these things take time, you know. These urban exploration videos and rants where you just listen to me talk about nothing at all, these are the easiest videos to get out because they don't really require any editing. You know, I have my intro pre-made, I just slap it on there, and so now you can see where we're at. We were here before, but we're going to kind of be exploring a different route. Anyway, these are easy to make. They don't require a lot of production. I just slap everything together. You know, it doesn't take very long. But other videos that have more editing and stuff on them, or you know, that are going to require like a little bit more, like survival manuals, for instance, and demonstrating stuff that you find in the survival manuals, certainly that's going to take a lot longer. So we've been up here before last episode. This is where I said, oh yeah, that's where those like trains were at. So there's some of them. And then if we go down this other way, we actually end up to where we could cross over, like the Phil Milstein Grove and stuff. Walking through the mud. So I think the vet's like on the next street over, honestly. And we're going to kind of be headed that way. So that's kind of where we crossed over the last time, where you're definitely not supposed to. That plumbing place has like a will call, so you like if you call ahead, you have your parts ready. Well, the next street we see that actually runs further than 6th Avenue, we will take it, and we shall go that way, and we shall see what is there. So here is my cat's vet, right there, that building there. Okay, I think though if we take Yuma, we can kind of meander this direction here. And you can see we're like directly south of the Platte River Station. You can see the smokestacks in the distance. So that kind of shows you where we're at today. We're just south. We're like, I don't know if we're on 2nd, we're like 10 blocks south of that. I don't know, for you people that aren't viewing it in America, probably 2 kilometers, I want to say. I'm really bad at judging kilometers, but I'm going to imagine we're like a mile away. Around here somewhere. It definitely smells like weed, and not the weed that I have with me. Definitely more weed than I could carry. Parking lot. Say hi to the fucking news channel there. They're not looking for us. I mean, honestly, if they were, it's not a lot you can do to get away from a helicopter, folks. They have equipment on board that it's pretty easy for them to spot you. Especially when they're backed by some sort of ground support that is pursuing you as well. you doing today? Oh, just out getting some photography while it's 70 degrees. Yeah, you know, who knows what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, you know? But, well, you know, so I record stuff for YouTube, and I tell people, I'm like, you know, in Colorado, I have my thermals on and my hoodie with me today, because when the sun goes down, it's going to get plenty cold. But I like these areas that look kind of abandoned around here. I just kind of stick to the main streets. And we kind of have like a theme of it's the end of the world on my channel, you know, so like where else? It's called Grizzled Survivor. It's on YouTube. We do not only like stuff like this, we do like survival tips and stuff too. But, you know, while it's quiet and you can get away from the city, it's always nice to slip away for a while, you know. Yeah, I will say this, the year and a half I've been doing my show, you're honestly the first like security personnel of any sort that's ever stopped. I don't know, and I've mentioned this on my show before. Like, I see people drive by, and I'm like, oh, they don't ever say anything. So you are the first that I've ever encountered on my show, besides like drug addicts. Well, we were just commenting as we were walking down there. I'm like, you can see the graffiti artists have been hard at work down here. It's like definitely an area. Well, you're close to the river, you know, and with all the homeless people. I have. All right, now that the camera seems like it wants to work, security guard busted us back there. We weren't doing anything. We were just walking, and we looked like we didn't belong there, so we got stopped and questioned. He was very courteous. He enlightened us that this area is to be extremely dangerous after dark, which you could imagine. It's the industrial sector here, you know, like, this is where the shit goes down in the abandoned areas. You know, he just wanted us to give a shout out, though. He was very courteous. He just wanted me to, like, literally give a shout out to security guards and law enforcement officials. The people that, you know, like to put a damper on our parade a little bit, but they do also stop the more dangerous elements, people armed with more than just cameras. And so, you know, honestly, it's good to have someone out in the area you're urban exploring to a degree. In case you got injured or you came across like someone who wasn't necessarily cool with you being there, it's better to arbitrate that with like a law enforcement official than to try to arbitrate it on your own. And luckily for me, I work at a very popular restaurant down here in Denver, and I'm able to just like use that to just talk myself out of all sorts of trouble. Because so many people have eaten there. And then we just get on the topic of the food, and I'm able to pretty much just, you know, talk my way out of stuff. I think this is a good area to come and kind of wrap our show up today. Got like that tower there. Now, at some point, we're going to be able to cross back across the river. And so then we will be headed home. But I don't necessarily think we're going to come across anything too exciting. Honestly, the security guard was the most excitement I've had on this show in a while. So many dispensaries down here. Something smells good food-wise. I'm starting to realize that I am very hungry. Being out getting all this exercise certainly has worked up an appetite. So, this is exactly where we ended last episode. Over there's where we went around and went up by the train. I think today we'll go up to the hill. Well, we probably won't. still laughing internally about the whole security guard thing. In a year and a half of doing the show, or about a little bit over a year, I guess, that's the first time that we've ever run into any sort of person in a security capacity that has questioned what we're even doing at all. You know, we weren't even really doing any trespassing, so to me it's just funny that the one day I'm not really doing anything wrong is the day that we get stopped. Kind of cracks me up a little bit, honestly. It's just comedic. So by my calculations, this should be 8th Avenue. And it looks like, with the amount of traffic on it, that this probably is going to go over where we need to go. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where we're at now. We're actually at like a perfect spot to end the show. I'll show you exactly where we're at, and you'll know, and you'll agree with me that we've seen all there is to see today, and that further adventures will just have to be postponed until such times that we come across areas we've not seen before. Probably tomorrow, depending on how I'm feeling after today and after work tomorrow. But I may pack the camera along and just kind of do some wandering around after work. It might be fun. Alright. It's a gorgeous sunset tonight. There was a restaurant around here I wanted to try at one point, but I want to get closer to home, and I'm kind of broke. Have thought about starting a Patreon for this channel. I've thought about starting one. I have not started one. Let me clarify that. But, you know, I would assure people that all the money I made from the Patreon would go towards supporting the show. But I almost don't want to do that. I mean, I don't know, if you lasted this long into the video, would you like to see some merchandise? Shirts maybe, or some sort of, you know, survival manuals and stuff that I pieced together. I mean, an urban exploration manuals. I mean, if that's stuff you feel like you'd like to see, you can certainly make it happen. And here we are. This is where I wanted to show you where we're at. And it's a perfect spot to end our episode tonight. There's beautiful Denver. And here we are as we walk towards the Platte River Station. I would like to just say thank you as always for joining us tonight, today, this afternoon, as we went out and did several hours worth of urban exploration today. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for supporting the show. If you like what you see here, you should click that like button. You should definitely subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it if you shared this video so more people could see what you enjoyed about this video. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all post-apocalyptic stuff. We get to see some beautiful sights, and I think this year we're definitely going to branch out into some more content. Such a gorgeous sunset tonight. And I just thank you for staying with me this long. I know this is a pretty drawn out goodbye, but I just feel like it's such a gorgeous evening. I'm not quite ready to give you folks up yet. You know, being kind of selfish tonight, and taking you along for the ride on my little walk here. We did find some newer areas today, although I don't feel like I found the area that I'm looking for. I feel like it's over that direction more. And so, next time we come to the west on the Grizzled Survivor show, we shall be going that way. Which we've done a tiny bit on the show before, but we never gave it much serious thought. But tomorrow, I think we're going to be back in the northern sector towards Globesville or the Mana Pro factory that we urban explored the other day. Something like that. Alright, folks. I'm going to let you go now. Thanks for joining me once again, and have a great evening, and happy survival. And once again, thank you to the security guards and the law enforcement out there that bust us urban explorers, but are also extremely courteous and don't give us trespassing tickets. Thank you, and good night.